Hi, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Ask Me Any Stock session. Some of you have already joined us. Thanks for joining us and being early. If you can see and hear me loud and clear, we're now live on YouTube as well as on Facebook. Type a GM for good morning. Let me just acknowledge all of you before we begin today's AMAS session, all right, on the US market, right? GM for good morning. Let's see who is joining us here today. We have been doing this for more than a year now, right? Thank you so much for those of you who have been like regulars joining us every single Friday, 10:30 a.m., rain or shine. Right, good morning, right? Okay, good morning. Hi, ABC, Alphabets as well. Just want to acknowledge all of you. Hi, Coffees. Hi, Brandon, Joseph, Cecilia. Hi, Jolene, Koki as well. Good morning. Good morning. Aileen, morning as well. Welcome, guys. Welcome to this Friday edition of the Ask Me Any Stock session. So today, right, we'll be looking at the US stock market, right? So if you are kind of like, looking at any US stock, doesn't matter what US stocks, right? Any US stocks, right? Whether is it like Apple or Microsoft or anything, right? And you want a quick opinion, right? You want your stocks to be covered live analysis using our strategy, the 1GT Pro indicator as well. You are in the right place. You're in the right place, right? And let me just go to share what we'll be doing today, right? So very quickly, as usual, we'll do a quick market outlook, right? We'll dive into the S&P500 index, right? The index that, accounts for the top 500 stocks in the US, right? A very popular index as well that give us an indication of the market sentiment, market moves, right? So we do a very quick market outlook on that. And then we'll move on to the next segment, which should be the US stocks that you guys are asking about, right? So later when you type in the stocks, the US stocks that you want a quick opinion on, do give us a bit of context. Give us a bit of context. Don't just type like one, Apple over there, I also don't know what you want to know about Apple, right? But give us a bit of context, right? Like, are you looking to buy? To sell? All right. You got in at what price? Last week, last month, last year, all right? What's the intention, right? And then we are able to analyze it a little bit better for you, all right? A bit more personalized, I would say, right? And we also give you a bit more priority because you put in the time and effort to type, and give us a bit of context. Sounds good, all right? So that's what will happen. And of course, at the end, right, that's where each of us, me and my team, right? Well, three of us over here. We have me, Bervin, and Jai over here. Each of us will share with you one US stocks that you can put in your watch list for potentially even more upside as we head into the end of 2026 or maybe the second half of 2026, right? So very exciting times, a lot of opportunities right now in the market. Market is a bit more volatile, but I think there's some positive developments over the past week. All right, so let's get started. And would it be okay, guys? Would it be okay if you help me to like and share, right? So you can help us to reach out to more people. If you have not yet subscribed to the channel yet, so we are live on YouTube as well as on Facebook. Make sure you hit the follow button, subscribe, so that you can be alerted when we go live in the future. And not just this live show every Friday, every single week. That's where we also share and publish some of the videos to add more value to you about the strategy, about the bank stocks, about the how to trade breakouts, how to know when to get in, right? So subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow as well on Facebook so that you will not miss out, all right? And we actually we started this thing called the One Good Chat podcast, all right, over the past 2 weeks, and then eventually all these videos will be slowly published as well to add more value to you, whether you're an investor or trader. Well, I believe this One Good Chat podcast that we have just launched on our YouTube channel will be something that you can get value as well, all right? I would say to get more clarity whether you're a serious or beginner, investor or trader. Okay, Ken, so hit the subscribe button. Thank you so much. Now let's get started, okay? So if you have not met before, my name is Joey Choy, top tier remisier trader in Philip Securities. I've been doing this for more than 15, 20 years now, all right? And my forte is pretty much in stocks, right? So we do like Singapore stocks, US stocks, Hong Kong stocks as well, all right? Pretty much in stocks, right? So if you are looking at stocks, probably, I've been doing it for quite long, all right? Probably I'm the guy to reach out to, all right, Ken? And that's me, right? And I use what I call the One Good Trend strategy, whereby, as the name goes, right, one good trend, in short, 1GT, whereby we are looking at riding the trend of stocks, all right? If it's an uptrend, we're looking to get in, to buy, to ride, and maximize our profits along with the trend. And later you'll find out a little bit more if you're new, right? And that's pretty much what we do, right? We write the trend of stocks, we get out when it's time to get out, or we get out when there are signs of a reversal, we get a bearish signal, we get out. And maybe to get back in again when it looks good again. Does it make sense, Bob? All right, so that's what we do, right? Writing a trend of stocks, whether is it up or down, and we have a tool to access that side. So we do it in a very systematic, repeatable process. We have a 7-step checklist to guide us. So today, me and my team, we don't have time to like explain the whole checklist to you or the whole strategy. Probably takes us a few hours, right? So if you want to attend a free webinar, right? I think this will be the very last webinar. We don't do this. This is not really my full-time job. I'm just, just sharing what I know, and what. So we have a very last webinar. I think next Tuesday on the 23rd of June. So the link is right in the chat. Click on it. Register for this free webinar. All right, and that's where I will break it all down for you even more. All right, and about the entire strategy, we will break it all down. Right, but today will be just pam about your US stocks lah. All right, Ken. So link in the chat. Attend the free webinar next Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. on the 23rd of June. Okay, Ken. Now let me go to introduce to you my team members. We have Z, but Z is not joining us here today. All right, Z is working on other projects. Right, I have with me Bervin, all right, who is joining us here today. All right, one of the top brokers as well under me in Philip Securities, assisting our thousands of clients, assisting in our teams, our group coaching sessions with our graduates, our one-on-one calls with our mentees, and even heading, or kind of like assisting our team's portfolio manager with our 8-figure portfolio management business as well. And Bervin is kind of like not just an expert in technicals or the one good trend, right, but also an expert in fundamentals. All right, and I do consult him a little bit as well. All right, he is what we call a CFA chartered holder, chartered financial analyst. Basically, one of the highest qualification one can ever get in the finance space. Right. So let me pass on the mic to Bervin just to share a little bit of himself in case you guys have never met him before. Right, Bervin, go ahead, all yours.
All right, thanks, Joey. Thanks for the awesome introduction. All right, so welcome back, everybody. For those that are first time here, welcome to our weekly AMAS session. Today we're covering the US market, like Joey said, but usually we always rotate Singapore, then go to US, then US compared to Singapore. So that's how we, every week you get some additional value, you get some insight into the market or into those stocks that you're actually holding. All right, so I've been out of commission for the last 2 weeks. All right, so just came back from reservice. I don't know how many of you here attended reservice ICT before. Yeah, but basically your brain just switches off for that 2 weeks. It's quite hard to adjust back. So I'm here. I'm ready to give you guys my opinions, my insights, or my 2 cents about the stocks that you are currently holding. All right, so of course, everything boils down to 2 things when you look at the stocks. All right, you have to look at the fundamentals and then the technicals. Unfortunately, today we don't have time to dive fully into our 1GT 7-point checklist, a very, very strong checklist. But I think the link is in the chat for those of you guys who want to find out just a little bit more, get yourself a little bit more value, get yourself ready, especially for the next half of this year. I think that is a very, very important thing. The market is behaving in a very bullish manner. It wants to be bullish. So be ready for those moves. Be ready to spot those stocks that has been on your watch list for maybe a little bit. Maybe you can even get an entry for it. All right. So without further ado, I'll pass the time back to Joey to introduce our next team member. Joey.
All right. Thank you so much, Bervin. All right. So later Bervin will share his view on the stocks, the US stocks that you guys are asking about. Right now, let me go to introduce another team member, Jia Yi, all right, who has been joining us many times in our AMAS session as well. All right, Jia Yi also conducts our group coaching sessions with our graduates, our one-on-one calls with our mentees, also assisting our team's portfolio manager as well. And Jia Yi, I would say, has a very special interest in candlestick, all right, price actions, and that's where I do consult him as well. Of course, he's very familiar with the entire one good trend strategy, right? So Jia Yi, maybe just share a little bit on yourself. Jia Yi, go ahead.
All right, thank you, Joey. So for those who actually don't know me, basically I'm Choy, and I've been assisting Joey with operations, client servicing, and also trade execution since 2023. So over the past few years, actually had the opportunity to work closely with many of our clients and also know much more about the markets along the way. Like what I mentioned today, we will be focusing on the US market. So I believe the market has remained relatively resilient, with investors continue continuing to digest like the economic data and expectations surrounding the interest rate. While concerns around Middle East has been kind of eased following the recent US and Iran agreement, I believe investors are still closely watching how this current optimism can actually sustain along the way. So I mean, as always, we also look through the charts of those stocks that are looking at, and see where opportunity might develop along the way as well. So I think that's the main purpose of today's AMS, and I think that's a quick overview of for me. Yeah. So I'll pass on my time back to Joey.
All right, thank you so much, Jai. So let's get started, right? So just a quick disclaimer, guys, as usual, this entire session is all for education purposes only, all right? Not asking you to buy or sell anything. We're just sharing with you guys our process, our framework, the tools that we're using, the one good trend strategy, and you decide on your own actions. Cool? All right. So just a quick disclaimer, right? Do a bit of homework, right? Do a bit of due diligence as well. Okay, Ken? So let's get started right now. How many of you want me to cover what we call the markets? Type M for markets, guys. If you want me to do a quick market outlook, right? What has happened in the market? Are we going up? Are we down? Bullish, bearish? M for market, guys. If you want me to cover the markets very quickly, right? Maybe even the S&P 500 index, right? Type of N for market, let me know. Okay, I think we have more of you joining us. Welcome, right? To those of you who are just joining us, welcome to our Ask Me Any Stocks US live show. We have only just got started, so not to worry, never miss anything. All right, good more market. Okay, very good. So let's get started. This is the S&P 500 index, right? And last evening, all right, we kind of rebounded again. All right, we are around that 7,500 level. So let me just do a quick run through of what has happened in the markets over the past few weeks, right? So if you know, I mean, maybe start in March, of course, we had the US-Iran war that started, the market started to trade all the way lower, it escalated a little bit, missiles, drones were flying around, all right? There were kind of like the first talks that happened somewhere around April, a bit of positive developments, market started to see a very strong rebound, all right? And we broke the 7,000 and we pushed even higher. So there were some positive developments. Of course, the tech sector, the AI sector, was pretty much in play from April to May, pushing up, when there were talks about, rate cuts and all that. But however, with the Straits of Hormuz still closed, inflation went up, oil prices went up, and, there were talks about rate hikes, right? And so that was where, there was a little bit of a sell down in the technology sector, in terms of, this new, Federal Reserve Chairman coming in as well, Kevin Walsh, all right? He initially it was like a bit of rate cuts, but there were some talks about potential rate hikes by the end of 2026, right? And that's where the market started to see a bit of profit taking, all right? The tech stocks sold off as well over the past 1 to 2 weeks. But somehow, I would say strength has came back again. I think all of you know the reason why, because over the past few days, finally, there were some really good positive developments. I mean, not entirely 100% soft yet, but at least it's a huge positive step forward. All right, an agreement has been signed electronically between US and Iran, all right, in terms of a 60-day ceasefire. It's not just like the previous ceasefire, whereby you just ceasefire and then like go and discuss, but this time ceasefire, but they opened the Straits of Hormuz. All right, that's part of the agreement. All right, of course, US will lift the entire blockade of the Straits of Hormuz as well. All right, so oil can start to flow more freely. And of course, I think all of you know that Straits of Hormuz accounts for 20% of the world's oil. So it's a bit of a positive development, all right? In terms of Iran's nuclear program, I think that remains to be resolved, all right, as part of the ceasefire agreement. And that's one of the things I think Trump will be pushing forward as well, all right, in terms of sanctions. At least there's some, a huge step forward, because right now it involves opening of the Straits of Hormuz. That's pretty much why oil prices have spiked up heavily all the way in March and April, right? So that's why the market rebounded a little bit, right, because of this deal over the past 1 week, right? Now, let's take a look at, in terms of the technically, right, what are some of the key levels to look at? So I would say that right now, if I can draw it for you, this will be a very key resistance level for the market. I would just say maybe somewhere around the 7,600 level, some 7,600 level, right? And if you look at the S&P 500 index, we can see that I've been talking about it since last year, that the long-term trend is up, right? 100 days moving average, the red line is pointing up. The blue line, 200 days moving average line is pointing up. So long-term trend is up, right? Red above the blue, very strong long-term uptrend. Doesn't mean in the long-term uptrend, I mean, the long-term trend is up means the short-term trend is always up lah. All right, because the short-term trend, we look at what we call the green line. Can the green line point down? Can. There you see, somewhere in like February last year, the tariff, right? The short-term trend down, right? Right, and that's where the short-term trend was down, even though the long-term trend was up, right? Same thing in March, and when the US-Iran war started, you can see the short-term trend was like flat, then suddenly point down, and started to reverse back up. But every time the short-term trend reverses back up, that's where you could see, right, that the move happened, right? Because when that happened, the long-term trend that is already up is aligned with the short-term trend that is like down, and start to point up. And there we go, right? Right over here, there we go. Does it make sense? All right. So let's take a look at what is happening right now to the short-term trend, right? In terms of the green 20 days moving average line. So if you ask me in like April and May, I would say like but if you ask me right now, over the past 1 week, it's no longer like up like that lah. I mean, like that, I'll say up lah, but it's not now, right? It's like a bit flattening out already, right? So the short-term trend over the past 1 2 weeks, of course, we saw a little bit of selling. The green 20 days moving average line that was like up. Then let the reversal April, May, very nice. Started to flatten out. Does it make sense, right? So it doesn't mean it's going to crash and stuff. It just means that we are seeing a bit of resistance at that 7,600 level. It used to be about 7,005, but it's gone up a little bit. We touched 7,006 about 2 times, and we push even lower. That just means it, right? It just means that we are in a bit of a consolidation right now below this very key 7,600 resistance level. That's it, right? It doesn't mean that we are going to be bearish and stuff, right? So far, so good. The green line is still flat. Of course, if it starts to like come down again, then not so good lah. But right now, it is just remaining flat, right? So what can happen? What can happen is that apart from the trend indicators, right? The long-term trend up, short-term trend sideways, what can happen is that we can also turn on based on the one good trend pro indicator, right? As I say, guys, I don't have time to explain the whole strategy and all that, right? But basically, we have these two right over here. The link is right in the chat. Attend a free webinar next Tuesday. But very quickly, based on these two right over here, I can turn on the very first box, right? The buy and sell signals. Let me just turn it on for you. So you can see I already turned on the 3 boxes, which is the 3 moving averages. Right, the red, green, and blue line. We talk about it, right? I mean, I can off, then blurry, right? But let's turn it on, all right, since I've gone through it just now, all right, the 3 moving averages, just to get an idea of the trend for the market or any stocks in the longer term or in the short term. But a very powerful confirmation that I seek, that me and my team seek, would be these bullish and bearish signals. Pump, on, off, on. All right, I mean, 2 seconds will come out. Oh, you don't want to, you just remove it, right? So let's turn it on and let's see what it says, right? There we go, right? So very quickly, I mean, for the market, you can see that every time we get bullish signals, I mean, it's not always green bullish one, but sometimes also got red color, you can see. Red color, then all the way down, right? In March, you got bearish signal, and then US-Iran war started all the way down, right? But more importantly, when the bullish signals appear, not 1 but 2, then you see for yourself, all the way up, right? Same thing over here. In terms of the tariffs, right, announcements, right, we got bullish signals in April last year. There we go, very, very strong reversal all the way up. Now, let's go to see what has happened over the past few weeks, right? Are we getting a bullish or bearish signal? Well, we actually got a 1 GT bearish signal coming out, right? And it was after the huge run, a huge reversal from April all the way to June. All right, and of course, the reason we sold off was because a bit of sell down in the technology sector. You can remember, like I think about last week, all the tech stocks started selling down, right? Because we have been going up too fast, a bit of profit taking, right? And talk about rate hikes and all that, right? So a bearish signal actually got triggered. That was before this whole, subsequent developments in terms of the US-Iran trade agreement, right? So it was a bit weaker. The market sold off to like near 7,003, and we started to see some bargain hunting coming back again, right? So we got a bearish signal, right? So as I say, bearish signal doesn't mean it's going to crash or what. I mean, it just means that we are seeing a bit of selling, right? So about 2 weeks back, came down a little bit, but some buying pressure have came back and a support has been found again somewhere near 7250, right away. I think 7250. That's where we were, all right. Has been a pretty good support. We've touched about a couple of times and we push away. So I think the range is like 7250 to 7,600 right now, right? And we are kind of like consolidating in this range. The green line is kind of like flattening out, as I mentioned, right? So pretty okay, right? What I'm looking for would be if, I don't know when, right? But I think if we can lift off the 7,600 level right over here, all right? Or, 7,700 right over here, right? And the green 20 days moving average line starts to go from flat to up, right? I mean, something like over here, like we got some bullish signals appearing, all right? And then the green line that was like going down also started to point up. That could be the next momentum move up for the entire markets. And it could be as soon as next week. I mean, especially when the deal gets signed, everything goes smoothly, less uncertainty in the market. It could be soon, right? Now, type A for alerted, guys. If you would like to be alerted if this new, I don't know when, but if this new 1 GT bullish signal actually gets triggered, right? Type A for alerted if you might want to be alerted, right? Like over here when we saw the reversal in April. Let me know, right? How many want to be alerted to like a bullish signal if it comes out? A for alerted. Right, let's see. Jolene, alerted. Catherine, thank you so much. User Chris, Eileen, alerted. Right, very good. I mean, I would love to be alerted as well. Please don't ask me when it will come out. I also don't know. I cannot predict like, next Thursday or next Tuesday it will come out at this time. I mean, I also don't know lah. If I know, then good already lah. So, but we don't need to guess when it will come out. Try to predict when it will come out. Right, when it come out, then it come out, then we will know lah. Does it make sense, right? The meeting is come out already, then you still think that never come out, and then cannot lah. The meeting is that once it come out, then we want to take actions, meaningful actions to capture opportunities, not just in the market, but stocks that align with the market. I mean, of course, bullish signals are playing out on them as well. Does it make sense? All right, Ken. So that's how we can be alerted to get ready. I mean, to capture the reversal. We have talked about it. This reversal, since April. You can watch our, Friday weekly Ask Me Any Stock session. All the replays are on YouTube. You can watch I think you can watch the April and May session. We've been talking about the reversal already since April. We already mentioned that our bullish signal come out. So in case you're still thinking whether reverse, already reversed very long already. Now it's another level. Now it's reverse and resting, and then maybe attempting to find a new high, attempting potentially to break the 7,600 resistance. So I think that can happen. All right. If we break 7,006, a new bullish 1 GT signal appears, gets triggered. Other confirmations like the short-term trend plus other things that we look out for appears, the market can be more bullish. All right, Ken, thank you so much. Alert, right? Very good, right? So, but then again, how do we set an alert? I mean, just in case I missed it. So, I think I've done it, but let me just set it again in case I forget, right? So, what we can do, as I say, this is the One Good Trend Pro indicator, all right? We can type the name of any stock, even the market. This is the market, not a stock, all right? But if you want to buy the market, you can actually buy the ETF, all right? The SPY, which is pretty much the S&P 500 ETF that tracks the S&P 500 index, all right? So you could buy the market if you want, right? But we can set an alert, all right? Like for example, let me just set an alert. One Good Trend Pro buy or sell alert. All right, so any green bullish signals or red bearish signals, I can be alerted, right? Notification, how to alert? Now, will they call me and stuff? No, nobody will call you. Basically, I can put an app, notifying app, even a pop-up, even send me email as well. I used to take everything, but I used to be on very too many emails. So I would just choose like a pop-up, done. All right, so that's where I set alert. If the signal comes out, like it happened in April, that led the reversal, that's where I want to be prepared. Cool. All right. So that's how I would, my take on the market. I think definitely we are on to another stage. It's definitely a little bit more bullish already. All right. With this deal agreement between the US and Iran, things are getting a little bit less uncertain, I would say. All right. Of course, with oil prices coming down, Straits of Hormuz being open, all that would be a more positive news than negative news, I would say. All right, can? Okay, and that would be the S&P 500 index. So very quickly, guys, I want to go ahead to move on to the next segment, which would be the US stocks that you guys are asking about. So I see a lot of you typing in, the US stocks in the chat already. So very quickly, guys, go ahead, all right, as we move on to this new segment right now of the AMAS show, go ahead to type in the chat some of the US stocks that you want a quick opinion on, all right? And I'll go ahead, I haven't seen yet, so give me some time, maybe about like a few seconds to pick the very first stock for today. And then I'll pass on the mic to Bervin, and Bervin will pass on to Jai. So we do like a round robin style very quickly. All right, we try to cover about 12 to 15 stocks each time very quickly. Okay, Ken? Okay, so let me go ahead to pick the very first stock for today. And as I say, guys, right, I think that's what all of you are doing, right? So give us a bit of context, right? So when you type in the name of the US stocks, right, give us a bit of context, like what you want to know about the stocks, right? Did you buy it like, last year or last month or just yesterday, all right? And what price, right? And so at least we analyze our US stock, we know lah, we can use it as a bit of a reference. I think that would be where you can get more value lah, all right? Because you type the name there, and then I think you want to buy, but actually you want to sell, and then it'd be like, opposite, huh? Okay, again? Okay, so let me pick the next stock that we talk about. I would say, maybe I'll just pick the very first stock today, right? Here, Genevalo Joe, all right? So MU would be Micron, I believe, right? Micron, when it turned bearish. It has turned bullish now, really? Let's take a look, right? But price has gone up so much. Thinking of going in again. Is that okay given it's so expensive now? All right. Thank you so much for giving us a bit of context. So you got in previously, you sold, all right, hopefully you make some money, all right? It turned bearish, right? But then now you say that it's going like bullish again, all right? So let's see whether, can it be more bullish? Is it time to actually get in? All right, so let's take a look at Micron right now. The code is MU. Wow. $1,133. Well, Micron, I would say, will be one of the plays in terms of the entire technology space, the AI space. Okay, let me just go to hide the comment so you can see it clearly. All right. Yep. I would say that Micron has been in a very strong longer-term uptrend since like last year. I mean, look at the red and blue line. We talk about it, right? It's been a very strong long-term uptrend. Red above the blue, both pointing up. Of course, we can also wait for the green 20 days moving average line to go up. And every time we get a bullish signal, right? All the way, right? There we go. We get a red bearish signal coming out, a bit of profit taking. You can get out if you want, take some profit, nothing wrong, all right? In April, we got 1 GT bullish signal, all right? The green line that was like flat and a bit boring also started to turn up. And what happens? You can see for yourself. There we go, right? All the way up till we get a bearish signal, 132% in about 2 months. 132%. So if you have got in, you wrote the bullish signals, you get in 132%. I mean, if you get a bearish signal, take some profit, get out 132%. Don't need to be so greedy, right? Get out first, right? Reaccess it again, wait for the right time to maybe get in again, all right? Because it doesn't mean we see a bearish signal means you crash or you go all the way down. But when we see a bearish signal after like 2, 3, 4 months of it pushing higher, well, it just means some heavy selling have come back. So this is one of the confirmations that we seek in terms of our 7-point checklist to maybe get out, take some profit, especially if you're sitting on pretty decent profits, right? Now, let's go back to your question, right? So you sold it good, Genevalo Joe, all right? So I'm not too sure whether you see when you sold it, you're like sitting on very, very good profits. Okay, but now you're thinking about getting in again, all right? But it's a bit more expensive, which I agree lah. I mean, it's a bit more expensive lah, right? Because now it's like 1,133. Last week it was like about 1,000, and now like go up $100 more already, right? So looks a bit more expensive lah, right? Is it okay to enter again, right? To ride maybe the next phase up. Now, you can see that I've already turned on the 1 GT Pro indicator, right? In terms of the bullish and bearish signals, right? Off, on, right? So when I turn it on, quite clearly, guys, you can see that last night, all right, we have kind of like broken. You can see we were actually for the past almost 3 weeks to a month trading below the 1,100 resistance level, right? We touched, we came down. Went there again, came down again. But last night, we went above the 1,100 psychological resistance level, whereby we have been negotiating this obstacle or this barrier many times. Not many times, maybe 2 or 3 times. All right. So that is something meaningful. Basically, that's something meaningful. And we also finally got a new 1GT bullish signal being triggered again. If you look at the trend, as I say, the green line, not too bad. In fact, the green line was still pointing up when we got a bearish signal, right? So it was still holding quite well, right? Bearish signal came up, but the green line was still going up like nobody business, right? While green line, short-term trend still going up, right? Long-term trend already up since last year, like they don't say, okay, Ken? So overall, I think it looks pretty bullish, all right? We could potentially see the next phase of upside targets if we can do a little bit of a projection upwards all the way here. It could be anything. It could be anything around the 1350 to maybe the 1,400 level, right? So this is micro. I think that in this one good trend strategy, right? And one of the things that we focus on would be to buy into strength, right? Buy into strength. Right? I know it might sound a bit uncomfortable at first, right? Because it's a bit more expensive, correct? It's a bit more expensive, and to be honest, that was what many people say as well. I think we also covered Micron previously as well. You know, when it was around here, right? Actually, when we got bullish signals coming out over here, right? It was like 400, 450. Then it went to like, you know, like 700 or 650, right? And then I think we covered it as well, if I'm not wrong, all right? And then it went to 750, and then it went up by 80%, about 70, 80%, right? And then some people say, wow, very expensive already there. You know, it was like 450, 400, and then now 700. You ask me to buy for what? Right? We go up already, right? Why you never tell me earlier? Right? I actually got I mean, the bullish signal already came out, right? But the point here is that it was expensive then already, when it was 700 and 600. So now it's 1,000. Is it expensive? Expensive. I mean, it already go up, right? So same thing, now we are at 1,100. Is it expensive? Oh, expensive, right? I mean, compared to 600, of course, more expensive, right? But it might be a bit uncomfortable, but I think that's the exact shift in the mindset that you want to have. You become like buying the strength, right? Because it has been expensive over the past 2, 3, 4 months already, right, Ken? So the point here is there the potential for it to move even higher? If there is, confirmations are all pointing to more upside, then we continue to ride, right? Doesn't matter whether expensive or not expensive, right? So that would be for Micron. I think not too bad. I think if we can hold above this new 1,100 support level, we already got a bullish signal. If we can hold above 1,100, I think that's where we could see more upside momentum, you know, to ride the uptrend even further. All right. So this is Micron, right? So I'll be looking to see if we can hold above the 1,100. If you can, you know, potential long positions can be taken, right, to maximize our profits even more, okay, even though it's more expensive. Ken, Geneva Joe, I hope you're still over here. I hope that helps. That we very first off for today, Micron. Right? As I say, guys, if you want to find a bit more about the entire mindset, the kind of like the core belief that we have, all right, not just about these signals and stuff, right? You know, we also have this kind of like the mindset that we have, right, which I think is very important, because strategy aside, right, signals aside, you can see a bullish signal, but if your mindset, everything is not right, you know, not kind of like aligned, many people will not want to take actions, right? And that is normal, right? Because it is counterintuitive. Most people do not want to do what is the hard thing, right? Most people feel uncomfortable buying into the expensive, buying into the strength, right? So we want to kind of like make sure we focus on the right belief, the mindset, right? And that's what will be covered in the webinar next Tuesday, right? So of course we'll dive a bit more in detail as to some examples and case studies as well. Okay, Ken? So that will be for Micron Technology. The first stock for today, MU. Let me pass on the mic to Bervin to cover his next US stocks. Bervin, yours, go ahead.
All right, thanks, Joey. Okay, so let's go. Next one, right here. Come Trader 88. Morning, Joey and team. Hi, good morning. I am long IXC. Okay, let me just change the screen right here. Okay, on the screen right now, we have IXC. It's iShares Global Energy ETF, right? Price action appear a breakdown from recent trading range, but remains above the 200 EMA. What is your view? Okay, so for us, we typically use the SMA, not the EMA. EMA is a little bit more sensitive to near-term price movement. Okay, but let's just see what the chart actually says. All right, so right here we have a very bad chart. No signal, no nothing just yet. Okay, firstly, I think we can actually see that psychological $50 support was broken. All right, was broken last night. All right, prices was trading below it last night. It came down from that high of around $58. All right, $58 came there once, didn't break above it. Second time not right, close to it. Third time right there, then prices started to head down. So what's the first thing that we actually want to look out for here? In this case, I would say that 200 days, 100 and 200 days moving average are still pointing up, right? But we are seeing weakness in the nearer term. Right, price action definitely not in the bull's favor. It's not in a bull case right now. We have prices previously in the range since March all the way to June, so about 3 months. It's just been trading up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, and then down, like that right now. All right, so pretty much range trading. I will agree with you right there. All right, maybe we could potentially see a continued range trading, but now in a lower range. All right, so that's a very normal move, right, for any counter with a stable trend. But right now it is showing initial signs of weakness. Right, initial signs of weakness meaning what? We have that 20 days moving average, previously a little bit flat, and then now pointing down. Very similar to what the prices are actually showing. Right, previously just moving sideways, and then now starting to move down already and breaking that psychological $50 level. So that is a level that you typically expect buyers to come in, buyers to do a little bit of bargain hunting to defend those kind of levels, those kind of nice round number levels. Human psychology, still trading within their range. But right now, no. As of yesterday's close, not really anymore. Not really anymore. Are we looking to see if prices break above this $50 level again? Right, come trader. I think that's a good sign. Right, so you are long ISC at 31.20. Right, 31.20. That means you have previously bought and held this ETF for quite a little bit already, right? Quite a little bit. Maybe you bought all the way in April last year, right, or even further back. Right, so you're sitting on some profits, right? Good profits, over close to 100% in profits, maybe about 80% in profits. Not too bad, right? So you want to start to take steps to protect those profits. Right, you've been sitting on it for more than a year. Don't want your entire year of opportunity cost just disappearing like that, right? So take some steps. Let's just see if we can have some buy or sell signals. Right, so these are the signals that can help you to potentially lock in some of those profits, or actually help you to give you a general direction on where the trend could be potentially heading towards. So right now we have two 1GT bearish signal. All right, not just one, two. I mean one, and we're still holding above a key support. You say you want to hold, you got a longer term view, maybe still okay. But right now we have two 1GT bearish signals already. Is it time to take some profits? Right, $31 upwards to about $50 right now. You got about $18 over in profits. $18 over in profits. Don't let those profits go to waste. Don't let the prices head down towards the next support level, maybe around that $42 level right here. Right, this was where we actually saw some consolidation that had happened previously. Right, so this could be a new support level, or the next support level if prices continue to head downwards. Right, so one more thing that we can actually look out for is what we call a trailing support or trailing resistance. What is it? Essentially, it is a level that moves, a support or resistance level that moves along with prices. All right, so it's a dynamic support or resistance. It takes into account the volatility of the counter or the ETF or the market. It takes into account the volatility, and then it moves along with prices. So meaning to say that if we have a trailing support, that means prices are moving higher. So the support levels have to be moving higher. And if we are moving lower, like right now, we broke out of that trading range, like you have mentioned, that trailing resistance will show up and it will start to head lower as prices head lower. All right, so right now we are definitely trading under that trailing resistance of about $53 to $54, we are trading under that horizontal support now turned into a resistance. All right, so I think if you're asking what is my view at this point, I would say that if you are sitting on some profits, great. Time to enact a plan at least to secure some of those profits, reduce a little bit of exposure, pull some funds out, don't look for other opportunities. There's other uptrending counters that's going on in the market right now. Could potentially do a rotation, especially if you are investing in a global in an energy ETF. That means you are very familiar with how ETFs work. Could potentially rotate into another ETF, or maybe the technology ETF, the industrial ETF, the financials ETF. I haven't looked at it just yet, but you can actually rotate your funds into different ETF, continue the sector play, just in a different sector, right? Utilize those funds. And then when we start to see a little bit more bullish movements come in once again, that 20 days moving average start to flatten out, start to point up, recapturing that $50 level. You may want to have just some price alerts right there, or maybe even, in fact, we can use what we call a technical alert. So I'm not sure if you have the 1GT indicator on your trading view, but if you haven't had the 1GT indicator on your trading view just yet, I think Joey has also come up with what we call a 1GT Lite. 1GT Lite. Also, what you're seeing right now is a 1GT Pro. We have the additional features like the position sizing table, the horizontal support, horizontal support, trailing support. You can actually use the 1GT Lite indicator, which just shows you the buy or sell signal. Set up a technical alert using the 1GT Lite indicator. I'll just use the Pro one here. Set up a buy or sell alert right there. Trigger once per bar, expiration open-ended. Okay, great, create. So when we have new bearish or bullish signals, you will then be alerted. Come in, take a look to see how the trend has changed. Has that reversal into a downtrend continued? Or is it a reversal now into an uptrend again? We recaptured that key support level. We are in that higher range of consolidation once again. And then you can get back in. Of course, preferably within a buy zone. All right, so I think just be a little bit more careful, come trader. If we head down to that $42 level, I think a lot more of your profits may be wiped out. Can consider a sector rotation play for the IXC capital that you have currently invested. All right, so I think that is a quick one for IXC. I'll pass the time to Choy to cover the next requested stock from you guys.
All right, thank you, Bervin, for covering IXC. So the next counter that I'll be covering on is actually on Microsoft. Just give me a sec. I think some of you guys are asking about Microsoft, not just one, but a few. I think Damien, may I understand about MSFT, bought at around 450. Wondering if I should keep it. I think ST also asking about Microsoft. Not sure if you bought it, but seems like you just want some thoughts on Microsoft and overall how the tech software shares are. And I think you also mentioned, you bought it at around 375 range. Wondering if you should buy more now that it has dipped a bit in the recent lawsuit. Okay, so maybe let us just zoom into Microsoft. I think just last year it had a good run. It rebounded from that 360, went up all the way, breaking resistance, went up to that 550 level. I think we can see from here. I think in July it actually touched 550. Afterwards, there's sellers that came in, pushed on the price. Afterwards, in October again, it went close to that 550 again. Sellers stepped back in to push down the price again. Then I think just starting of this year, I mean, if you were to zoom in closely to see how Microsoft is for this year, I think start of this year, we can see that previously it was kind of supported around that 460 level. If previously we look at it, back then, this was like a support. December to actually around January, it was staying above this 460 level. Back then, the moving averages, long-term wise, the 200 days was pointing up, but you notice that the 20 days, which is the green line, and the 100 days, which is the red line, actually started to point down. Then afterwards, not only that, when we were to zoom in afterwards, prices broke below this 460 in January, kind of rebounded up, but I think after their earnings in January, it actually gapped down below that 460 level and start to show more weakness. And if you were to zoom in just for maybe the the first whole year of this year, we can see that the moving averages actually start to cross each other. No, the 20 days start to cross, the 100 days start to cross below that 200 days as well, and all of it actually at this point of time in March and April is already pointing down, indicating that overall Microsoft is showing weakness in terms of the short term, the long term as well. But what we notice is just recently in April, it kind of rebounded from that 360 level again, which previously it did rebounded from there again, went up, started to show more strength, which is why we see that the 20 days moving average start to show more strength. It actually went up, broke above that 400s psychological level, went up, came back down to test 400, went up close to that 460 level again, but just one day in June 1st, couldn't stay above, and afterwards we start to see more selling pressure come in. So overall, if you look at the Microsoft for now, I believe you guys will agree with me that both 100 days, which is the red line, 200 days, which is the blue line, are already pointing down, indicating that the long-term wise is already showing weakness. And not only that, previously when we see 20 days was kind of showing strength, but now it's actually already showing weakness and pointing downwards as well. And just recently, it broke below that 400 psychological level, going back close to that 360 level again. And if you were to turn on that 1GT buy and sell signal using the 1GT indicator, just as a simple guide, we can see that there's a 1GT bearish signal as well, indicating that this counter does have more selling pressure in Microsoft. So I would say for now, if you were looking to enter for Microsoft, some of you guys wouldn't recommend, because overall the long-term strength or the long-term weakness is there. We don't want to ride against the trend. So overall, the long-term weakness is there. We don't want to actually enter for this Microsoft. But for those that actually entered already, I think like ST, you bought around at 375, which is currently near your trading price now, around 379 as of yesterday close. And I believe Damien, bought around at 450 level. Which key level you guys should be monitoring for now if moving forward these such key levels are broken. So I would say for Microsoft, I mean, from the picture you can see that if we were to look at it, 360 might be a key level that you want to closely monitor. If prices move back down to that 360 level, we might see that it might rebound from there again. But if it breaks below this 360 level, there's a higher probability that there's more weakness in this counter moving forward, and we might see that it might move back close to that. Back then, maybe near that 300 psychological support level, which was a level that was back in 2023 October. It's quite a while back. Yep. So I would say maybe for now, you want to closely monitor whether 360, this level can be supported, or if best, prices stay above that 400 and start to show more strength. So I think for ST, you bought it close to current price. Maybe if it breaks below that 360, you might want to have a stop loss plan in mind. I think for Damien, you bought around at 450, which is actually near the recent high as well, which was a quite kind of like near resistance. So this is why we always mention when we want to buy into a stock, we want to look at where's the support, where's the resistance. We want to buy near a support level so that we have best risk to reward. So I think for Damien, when you bought into 400, for Microsoft, when you bought into Microsoft at 450, what was your trading plan? I think when you look at it, if you enter around 450, when prices pull back, what was your stop loss plan that you have in mind, or which level would you have stop loss if price goes against you? So I think all these are also covered in the webinar. I believe stop loss is actually very important, because we will never know how stocks will move moving forward. But what we can do is to minimize our losses and maximize our gains. So yeah, so I think for Microsoft, the key support level that we want to closely monitor is 360, or if not, if prices can break above even at 460 level, that will be a sign of some reversal. But for now, it seems like there's still weakness, and 360 might be a level that you guys want to monitor for Microsoft. Yep, so I think that's a quick one for Microsoft. If not, I'll pass on my time to Joey to cover the next stock.
All right, thank you so much, Shai. Good one. Let's go ahead to cover the next one. And let me share my screen. All right, and this would be kind of like a very new stock that I've not really followed before. All right, so thanks for sharing it with me. Who is asking about it? We have like Eileen. All right, Eileen, I hope you're still over here. Eileen Tan, right? Hi, Joby and team. You bought Applied Digital. I thought it's like Applied Materials. That one I heard before, but it's not Applied Digital at $36. So I put out Applied Digital Corporation. Not too bad, guys. Put this stock in your watch list. APLD. APLD is the code. All right. So thank you so much for giving us a bit of context as well, right? Spending the time and effort to type. So as I say, guys, if you actually put in the time and effort to type, give us a bit of context, like I can see we confirm give you more priority on that. Oh, okay, Ken. And that's what we have covered as well for those of you. We have covered your stocks already. Okay. Okay. So you bought at 36, you sold some at 41. Now is what? Now is $46. Okay. So you sold and went up a bit, but at least you still have some more, right? Okay. Holding a small portion now. What are your views on the potential now that is at 46 plus? Correct. It's 46.59. All right. Should I hold, buy, or sell? All right. So thanks for giving us a bit of context. Basically, you bought, you sold, you make some money. All right. You're still holding on to a balance, maybe some shares. Should you sell them? Or maybe you think about buying more, right? If certain actions, if certain things play out on this chart. Let's take a look, right? So you can see that for Applied Digital Corporation, well, first of all, I think this is a good stock to even think about buying, right? Why? First of all, the longer term trend is up. Look at this, right? The red line is pointing up, blue line pointing up. We have been in the uptrend in the longer term since last year, right? So definitely a stock you want to have in your watch. This doesn't mean anyhow buy, but it's better than those that every day go down, every month go down kind of. That one, then don't buy that one. You kind of stuck like you buy, right? But this is a good longer term uptrend. We are aligned with the longer term trend, all right? But doesn't mean longer term trend up means you anyhow buy also, right? You try to get in at zones and areas of values, all right, whereby it gives you more upside reward. All right, now what do I mean by that? Well, first of all, we also want to think about getting in when the short-term trend is also up, right? So you can see the green line, the short-term trend can be down one. If the short-term trend is down, you buy over here, you go down some more, you buy over here, go down some more, get stuck. Right? So no, we want to buy when there are signs of a reversal, right? Look at the green line over here, right? Down a bit, flat, up, there we go, right? Up, there we go. Same thing over here, up, there we go, right? Is it still pointing up? Yep, I think the green line is still pointing up. So far, so good. Long-term trend up, short-term trend up, right? Now, let's go to take a look at in terms of the bullish and bearish signals from the One Good Trend Pro indicator, right? The first box, pop. And there we go. So you can see that for Applied Digital, well, yeah, every time you get bullish signals, you can see for yourself, right? In fact, in like April, we got another. So you can see a bearish signal, the green line point down. We don't want to buy. We want to be patient, right? So I'm not too sure exactly where you bought it, but you have got it right over here at $28, $30, right? They're not too bad, like Eileen, all right? So you got in like, you bought a 36, okay, then it's a bit higher already. Like you got in like 28, 30, even better, right? When the signal actually came out. All right, but never mind, you got in 36, still okay. A bit higher already, but doesn't mean cannot go up some more. Still okay. All right, but you can see that when we get bullish signals, green line turn up, long-term trend already up, what happens? There we go. The reversal happened. Not one, but we got two bullish signals. Now, let's go to take a look at what could potentially happen next. So I would say that this stock is definitely a stock whereby it's more bullish. It's more bullish, all right? We are capped below. So Eileen, you want to write down this very key resistance level. $50, 50, right? I think $50 is very, very important. So I'm not too sure exactly how many shares you're holding on right now. You sold some, at 41. Unfortunately, you went up a bit more. By right, you don't need to sell because it still looks okay, right? So by right, if you did not sell that initial batch, maybe what you could do is to take some profit near that $50, all right? You see now it's 46.59, but every time we hit the $50 over the past 1 month, 49 something, 49.80, 49.70, and then sellers come back and we pull back again, right? So $50 will be a very critical resistance level, right? You have sold some near 41, never mind, no choice, right? But now you're still holding on to it. If you want to take some more profit, I mean, near $50, I think it's fine. But as I said, I don't know how many shares exactly you have. It's like, you know, a few $100,000, then I think it's fine lah. All right. But if it's only a very small portion, then maybe not, because you already taken some already, right? But $50 is a very key resistance level. Okay. We always say this, right? To our graduates, our mentees, even for ourselves, that even in an uptrend, nothing wrong to take some profits near a resistance level, right? Especially a very key psychological resistance level that we have touched and then come down, and then touch and then come down, and then always go there, always come back down. Nothing wrong to take some profit, because every time we go there, come back down. Why can't we take some profit first, right? Then maybe go down, you can buy again, correct? Take some. We don't say take all, take some, all right? Because doesn't mean got resistance means it's lousy and what. No, right? It's still okay, just that we are kept below $50, right? So don't need to take all, but take some. So if you're a bit more confident, lock in some profits, put the money in your pocket, wait for pullback, enter again. Right? We don't want to take all. Why? Because it still looks good. Right? Why? If you take all, then it breaks $50. Right? Then become 51, then 52, then 55. Then wasted lah. Yeah, sell already, all go up, right? So we don't take all, right? Take some. Nothing wrong to take some profit near a resistance level, right? Now, what I'm looking for is this lah. I would say that take some profit if you want near the $50, that's fine. But I'm looking at a potential, because things are looking good, right? Bullish signals since April are in play. Short-term trend up. Maybe now flat, maybe starting to point up a bit. Long-term trend already up. There could be a potential break of what we call the $50 psychological resistance level, right? If that happens, I think if that happens, we could be more bullish, right? We could be more bullish. Let me just do a little bit of an extrapolation upwards in terms of the range, 35 to 50. If we put it all the way up over here, well, I think upside targets could be revised all the way to that $65. If, I'm not saying it will happen, I'm saying if the $50 gives way, we see some bullish price actions right above 50. Maybe we see another bullish signal over here. Now got 1, 2, and then you see a third one coming over here. Best. That would lead the next phase of upside all the way to 60, 65. I think it could be even more bullish. So that would be what we call a more aggressive entry to maybe even ride more, to buy more. You may have it already good. You could even buy more to ride the upside even more, right? To maximize your profits in an uptrend. And that's what I would do as well. I mean, if we do see some really strong bullish actions, even a new signal above that $50 resistance level. Can Eileen? So I hope that helps. All right, I hope that helps a bit clearer. So far, so good. Nothing wrong to take some profit near 50 if you want. But I think I'm looking at if the $50 can give way, it could be the next phase of upside. More momentum can actually return. Okay, Ken. So attend a free webinar, as I say, guys. The link's right in the chat. Next Tuesday, we actually break it all down, share with you guys a bit more about the 7-step checklist. All right, so that would be this stock called Applied Digital Corporation, APLD. Let me pass on the mic to Bervin to cover the next US stock. Bervin, yours.
All right, thanks, Joey. Thanks, Elaine. I mean, I just added that stock to my watch list as well. I think still looking not too bad. Okay, let's go. Next one. Okay, Jason. Hi, Jason. Good morning. Can have a look at service now? Seems good support level around $95. I have some average price around $100. Thanks. All right, so maybe just hide that comment for a little bit. I think it's blocking the time below. All right, guys, can we maybe help out Jason here for a little bit? All right, so if you are looking to buy service now, right now, what do you think Jason should do? Should he buy, sell, or hold? All right, buy, sell, or hold. I mean, B for buy, S for sell, H for hold. Maybe we can see if whether we have a mix of opinions. Service now, buy, sell, or hold. Okay, ABC says S for sell. A person says sell. All right, Edward says hold. All right, Kelda says sell. Maggie says sell. Brandon says sell. Geneva says hold. All right, so a little bit of a mix, but nobody says buy. All right, so let's maybe break it down a little bit. Buy or hold or sell. Okay, so firstly, I think what pops out is definitely that one GT bearish signal. All right, But the other thing right here is if I would just zoom out just a little bit, right? Just a little bit, just to get a bigger picture on what's going on for ServiceNow. It came down from, say, 2025 high of $240. So comparatively, $95 now, more than half price. Very good discount, right? But it has been in a downtrend since then, right? Downtrend since then. The red line crossing below the blue line, the 100 days crossing below the 200 days moving average. Prices have just been falling. All right, prices have just been falling. I think the worries of AI taking over companies or services as a software as a service companies, I think that is on the rise. So definitely we're seeing weakness in the more broader term or in the last 1 year or 2 years phase. I think AI has pretty much taken over a lot of those software companies, or the worries is there for sure. So we have a little bit of a run up. All right, we have a little bit of a run up since May. Right, for a couple of weeks, US prices look like, there could be a potential recovery, right? 1 GT bullish signal, 2 1 GT bullish signal. Prices met with a little bit of a resistance, right? Here, right, around that 140 level, right? Around that 140 level, Jason, I think you are pretty much aware that this is a sell zone, right? Where sellers like to come in, sellers would like to take some profits. And so after that, subsequently, with buyers not able to sustain that momentum, all right, we are in what indeed once again saw sellers come in, take some profits, and we broke below that $100 psychological level. All right, so you were mentioning that, yeah, we may be seeing some support at 95. I would say the support right now would be, to me, around that $80 level. Right, this was where we see prices rebounded once, came back down, rebounded once again, rebounded from this level to head up higher. So your average price is around $100. Right, your average price is around $100. Right now, at $95, you are seeing a little bit of a loss, right? A 5% loss. $100, 95, 5% loss. Right, not too big of a loss. All right, so now let's take a look at the shorter term trend. Right, the green line actually shows, or has actually started to point down once again. The last thing we would actually like to see would be this green line crossing below that red line once again. So then it will be the blue above the red above the green, a confirmation that the shorter term trend or shorter term downtrend is aligned with the longer term downtrend, very much like what had happened since the start of this year, since the end of last year. That's not a position you want to be in, because you could be free falling, right? The possibility of a free fall is there, right? It feels like the probability of prices heading back down towards $80 to test it once again is higher than the probability of prices heading above that $100 level and back towards that maybe 135 to 140 resistance level. So right now we are in a sell zone. So I think for over the next few days, okay, today is Friday, so over this Friday and maybe a couple of days early next week, you may want to be a little bit more careful, right? Because the market is bullish. The market is bullish, but this stock is not behaving bullishly. So it's moving in a different direction than the general market. So what you want to do is you want to set up some alerts or set up a stop loss, right? Set up a stop loss because prices have break below that $100 support already. You want to have a way to get out. All right. So I think, Brandon, we are just nice. We are also just now talking about ServiceNow on the screen. Prices have just broken below that $100 level. Right, Jason is also having a position in this counter. So if that $80 level or $80 support level not able to hold, then you could see further downside for ServiceNow. All right, so you can actually do like a projection, right? A projection upwards or a projection downwards. Let me just change this right here. Let me just get that. So we can use this one, the price range from $80, $100 to $80, I think the math is quite simple. Downwards to $60 is also a possibility. All right, so let's not live on hope. Don't live on hope that today will rebound or anything like that. Have a plan, Jason. I think losses not too wide right now. We could, potentially just get out first, wait for a reversal, wait for a confirmation that the longer term trend is starting to stabilize. Right now I will not say it's stabilized just yet. Wait for the 100 days moving average to flatten out a little bit of buyers come in, we capture that $100 level, maybe even $140 and above, then maybe, yes, I would say a potential reversal is in play, and then we come back to look at this counter, right? Rather than trying to bottom fish. Seldom plays out. We do not want to be stuck in a situation where you have your capital or a lot of your funds locked up in a counter that is not really doing very well, not even consolidating, it's just heading downwards every other day, and that's the last kind of situation you want to be in. Okay, so that is for service now. Pass the time now to Choy to cover the next requested stock.
All right, thank you, Bervin, for covering the service now. The next counter that we're covering on, I think most of us should be aware of this counter or heard of it. PLTR, Palantir. So I was looking at Jimmy bought Palantir at 36.30 more than 17 months ago. Until now, not moving. Please advise. So I was just looking back. Looks like when you bought it around 36.30, that was actually back in, I think, October 2024. Well, it's been actually close to 1 year, more than 1 year, 2 years, not yet 2 years, but 1 year plus. So if you look at it from 36.30 until now, you're actually up close to around 250%. So it's still good. You're still in a profit, but moving forward, what should you be doing for this Palantir? I would say Palantir previously have shown a lot of strength. I think back then when you look at it, the moving averages are all pointing up. It actually continue to show more strength in 2025 as well. Break above resistance. Actually, it hit a high of close to 210 just last year, October. But afterwards, when it hit the 210, close to that resistance level, prices kind of consolidated between that 160 to 200 level. I think just in last year, around August to this year, January. So prices were actually moving kind of sideways, which is why you see that the 20 days moving average actually start to point down, and the 100 days moving average also start to flatten as well. And I think afterwards, what we want to take note of is start of this year, January, prices actually broke below this 160 or around the 150 level, which prices previously was staying above. Broke below this level, there was a 1GT bearish signal that appeared as well. Then afterwards, you can see that prices came close to that 125 level. And if you were to zoom in just from Feb to this year until now, June, prices has been consolidating sideways between that 125 level to that 160 level. So if you were to look at it, just in Feb, April, May, June, actually almost a few months, each month, actually prices came to test this 125 level quite a few times. Prices went close to that 160, couldn't break above, came down, tried to break above again, 160 actually in June 1st, but couldn't break above, start to show more weakness again. So if you look at it just today or just yesterday, based on the moving average, we can see that all the three moving averages, we don't have to lie to ourselves, all are actually pointing downwards, indicating that previously when we look at it, moving averages are pointing up, long-term wise is still up, showing strength is still fine. But like what our team has always mentioned, when moving average is pointing down long-term wise, it's indicating that there might be more potential of weakness moving forward as well. So when moving averages are all pointing downwards, especially the 200 days and the 100 days, long-term wise, is showing weakness, we wouldn't want to get into this counter. But for Jimmy, luckily you actually bought it long time ago and you are in a profit. But we don't want your profit to be eroded as well if you start to show more weakness. and eventually, you start to show more weakness and you still hold on back to your purchase price. So what can we do, or what level should we take note for this Palantir, just in case it start to show more weakness, and where should you, secure profit? So like what I have mentioned, 125 is a key support level that it has been tested quite a few times. Prices came close to this 125 level, tested quite a few times, and just recently, just yesterday, prices was about 128. So 125 might be a key support level that Jimmy, you want to closely monitor. If prices break below this 125 level, we might see that if it breaks below, you might see that there might be more weakness and prices might move back down to close to that $100 psychological level. And back then, and if by then, if you still don't take some profit or you don't secure your profit, you're selling at 125 as compared to $125 down. I'm not sure how many shares you bought it, but your profits will definitely be lesser as compared to now. So I would say for now, since it's already near a support level, 125, you can closely monitor to see whether prices are able to stay above this level. If it rebounds off from this 125 and go back close to the 160, nothing wrong to take some profit, to secure some profit. Now, when we say secure, doesn't mean you need to sell everything, because in a profit, you can sell maybe half of it to secure the profit, just in case prices come back down, back to that 125 level again. So I'll say for Palantir wise, previously it was showing a lot of strength, but recently we can see that moving averages are pointing down, is indicating there's more weakness coming into this counter. And on top of that, we also see there's 1GT bearish signal, indicating that there's more selling pressure in this counter. So I would say 125 might be a key support level that you want to closely monitor. If it breaks below, best is to secure your profit, just in case your profits gets eroded as well. So I think that's a quick one on Palantir. Hopefully, you secure profit since you bought it very long time ago, 36.30. Yeah. So that's for Palantir. If not, I'll pass on my time to Joey to cover the next stock.
All right, thank you so much, Jai. So I think Jai mentioned a very good one as well, right? I mean, if you're sitting on very decent profits, I think most people, they more or less know when to get in, all right? But you must also know when to get out, right? Because you can be sitting on huge profits, but if you get bearish signals, the trend turn down, everything all don't look so good, and you hold all the way back down, then your profits also become like smaller and smaller, then worse after become a loss, then not so good, right? So you must know when to get out as well, all right? And for Palantir, I think it's a very good example. I mean, market is strong, bullish, tech stocks are in play, AI stocks are in play, but doesn't mean everything going up, right? Also got stock go down on there. So you all must know what to focus on, all right? If you're holding on to it, never mind, get out, focus on the strong one, the winners, all right? The good ones. All right, so I think Palantir is kind of like an example of a bit of weakness still. We probably don't want to buy a stock like this for now. All right, Ken? Okay, let me go on to the next stock, which will be slightly more positive. As I say, not everything is down, all right, but the market is bullish. There are definitely stocks that are doing really well. Let me go to share my screen right now. And this would be this company called Seagate Technology, STX. In fact, one of the stocks that has been in our watch list, we've been covering it. We shared with our graduates, our subscribers since last year, all right, and trading at 1070. The code is STX. Let me go to share the comments. Who is asking about it? Catherine, thank you so much, right, for just typing in the chat, giving us a bit of context, all right, putting the effort to really give us some this stock details, right? Okay, so you bought STX at 890 before, so I think maybe you bought like 890. Should be last week or maybe last week or last month. I think somewhere over here. I was thinking if you buy over here, that's the best. You can see that for STX, we actually in April, to be exact, 6th of April, we got the first 1GT bullish signal. 7th April, the next day, we got another, not one or two, 1GT bullish signal. So you buy over here, best lah. That one is like $460. Right? I mean, looking at the bullish signal, you can see that from here all the way to where we are right now, 146%, right, in 2 months plus. 146%, right, guys? So I say there are stocks that are strong. There are stocks that are weak, they are going down. No. We don't want to focus on that. We want to focus on strong stocks. All right. So you've got in over here. I think even better, right? But never mind. Doesn't mean you're getting a bit higher means cannot go up some more. Still okay, right? It's gone up. You have broken a very key level. I'll talk about in a bit, right? So I think your question is this, right? You added more, good. So you got in and you added more, all right? At 1080 last night, as all three MAs look bullish. Yep, good, definitely look bullish. Please advise what potential upside could that be, right? Could there be more upside? Very good question, right? So first of all, long-term trend is up for Seagate Technology, all right? The short-term trend, if you ask me in like March and February, I would say wait first, a bit boring. Look at the green line going sideways, correct? So long-term trend up, but the short-term is boring, all right? You can see before that, if you ask me, I would say I also don't know what it's doing. Go up, then come down, go up, then come down, right? Boring. But once the bullish signal appeared in April, you look at the green line, started to turn up, right? And there we go, right? We got confirmations of the short-term trend turning up, long-term already up, bullish signals got triggered, not one but two. There we go, right? Now, if you look at the short-term trend right now, same thing, it is still pointing up. So moving averages are all still strong. Trends are all aligned upwards, longer term and short term. Okay, so I would say that if you look at what you're asking, right, could there be more upside? Or definitely, I think that is definitely more bullish than like Palantir or other weaker stocks where the trend is down, right? So good stock to definitely want to have. What could be the next upside? So one thing I like is that we have broken this very key psychological resistance over the past 1 week. So you can see 1,000 was what we call a psychological resistance, right? $950 to 1,000. We hit it there. We came back down. We pushed away from 800 and we went past the 1,000. So that's a sign of strength, right? That's a sign of strength. As long as we stay above this 1,000 psychological support, I think the uptrend remains firmly intact, right? There could be more upside. All the way to where? All the way to where? Well, I would say that the range it used to do is like 800 to 1,000. So maybe next one could be 1,002, right? Maybe a bit of profit taking 1,002. Maybe after that would be to 1,004, all right? That's where you could lock in some profits, but don't need to lock in so many profits because it looks strong. It looks strong. So don't need to be too quick to take profits, all right? Because if you're too quick to take profits, then like for example, let's say you saw the bullish signal, you got in at 450, 460, and then go to 600, you take profit. And after you go all the way up, right? So there's no red color bearish signal, I mean, can you see a red color like over here, right? This red color bearish signal. If you see like over here or here or here, then okay lah, fine lah. But if you don't have, then chill lah, relax lah. I mean, continue riding lah. Does it make sense, well? All right. So I mean, so as I say, nothing wrong to take some profit, but don't need to take all also lah because it looks good lah. You get what I mean? All right. We may be even thinking of adding more to ride more profits. Not about taking, but riding more, get in more. All right, which I think that's what you're doing because you mentioned that you've got in more at 1080 last night. All right, which I think is good because that is where, even though you got in previously, you're actually thinking about buying more, right? And that's the thing that I think a lot of people don't want to do because you've got in previously at 890, cheaper, right? Then now you buy more at a more expensive price. Most people won't want to do that because it looks a bit stupid. At the time I buy cheaper, now I buy more expensive, like don't make sense, right? But I think you're in the right framework in terms of the mindset. All right, that's good because you are buying into strength. You're buying into more upside. You're buying into targets being raised even more, right? So that's a good thing. That's a good thing, right? And sure, right? It looks pretty good. And if what I can tell you is this, right? In terms of the target, it could be to 1,004, 1,005, right? That could be the upside target. Nothing wrong to take some profits, but more importantly, if you do take some profit near a resistance level, I think what is key is this: we also want to take steps to protect our profits that we are riding. So for example, one of the very powerful features, I think Jia Yi and Bervin have mentioned this now as well. One of the very powerful features would be the trailing support level, right? Right over here, turn it on. And you can see that when we got these bullish signals popping out in April, right? This green, okay, so let's remove the moving averages so it's a bit clearer. Pump. There we go, right? Can you see this trailing support line popping up in April? Below the candlestick, below the price, following Seagate as it moved up. Right? Can you see? Flat, follow, flat, follow, right? When you follow it, give it the space to breathe. We account for the volatility of Seagate. All right? And sometimes even if you near it, I can see when we near it, wow, a bullish candlestick come out, boom. We near it, boom. every time we near it, it could be a good opportunity to enter on dips, right? To ride the upside even more. So every time we near it, you can see, buyers came back and we push away. We push away, right? So as long as we stay above the trailing support level, is bullish. We continue riding, we continue taking steps to protect our profit. So we could put what we call like a stop loss, kind of like below the trailing support level, just to give it a bit more space, in case you go below, use up all the space plus you go below, and then not so good lah. Then you want to get out, right? But so far don't have. So it looks good. I believe, you know, if we continue to push higher, this trailing support, all right? So if you have a tool like this, it can help you to know when to get out as well, especially if a bearish signal appears, especially if it goes below a certain key level. Like, you know, if it continue to push higher, this trailing support will continue to follow, right? Like, I mean, it's been following all the way up, right? So you continue to follow. Good. Let it follow some more, right? But follow doesn't mean your stop loss still here, right? You don't want to come from here then all the way down and hit your stop loss, right? You want to take steps to protect your profits. You can raise your stop loss higher. Raise it up. You ride even further. You protect your bigger profits while giving it the space to make even bigger profits. Does it make sense, right? That's how we really truly maximize our profits in a one good trend, right? Pretty much the name of this strategy. Okay, Ken? So I hope that helps. All right, Catherine, I hope that helps. I think not too bad. All right, so far so good. We got confirmations. It's definitely more up than down lah. All right, Ken? So this is Seagate Technology. The code is STX. Okay. Now let me pass on the mic to Bervin to cover the next US stock. Bervin, yours.
All right, thanks, Joey. Okay, so let's go. Joy, hopefully Joy is still here. BE exited yesterday, didn't expect it to shoot above its all-time high. What are the risks of re-entering, noting its vertical spikes? Thank you. Okay, we go. All right, first of all, thanks for giving us context. You know, you exited yesterday, so now you're looking for a re-entry. I mean, that's a very, very good mindset, like what Joey said. I mean, it doesn't mean you exit already, you cannot buy back again, especially if the trend looks good. All right, the uptrend remains intact. I think that's more key. All right, so after about I would say about 2 months of consolidation, right here since the end of April up to yesterday, right, prices has just been trading between about $100 range, between 1225 hours to about 325. Right, a very, very good range, a very, wow, like to call a very stable range, right? Upwards, tested it, came back down, went back up, and as of yesterday, we managed to break above that 325 level, and Joy is thinking of re-entering. All right, so I'm not too sure what price did you buy, and then whether you had secured, you know, how much profits as well. So I mean, if you use the one, just very simply using the one GT signal here, right? Not the first one, second one up to yesterday. I say midday yesterday. That's still a 50% profit. Very, very good profits. I mean, congratulations. Good for locking in your profits. And now let's think about re-entering. Right, so with prices breaking above that 325 level, we can very simply draw a buy zone. Maybe upwards 325, maybe upwards towards like 350. That could be potentially a buy zone that we could see, you know, prices consolidating, you know, very similar like previously. Right, very similar like previously. We can draw more or less of a range where we start to see buyers consolidating, you know, bargain hunting coming back in, you know, that sort of key levels that you want to actually watch out for. So what are the risks of re-entering? As per any stock, if you would like to re-enter, you know, when the trend still looks good, upon a breakout, or even when it retraces back to the support, the key thing that you need to watch out for is if that trend can continue. In the sense where if it's coming down on the bottom half of the range, will that downtrend or the reversal, will it be a reversal into a downtrend, or will it rebound from the support? But in this case, as it broke above the resistance, now we could potentially turn this into a support if we can hold above this level or not. All right, so I think the first thing we have to look out for is tonight, Joy. I think if you're looking to re-enter, let's see if prices open within that buy zone and we are able to hold within that buy zone for a while, right? So maybe between 320 upwards to 350, we see buyers coming back in. a little bit of a bullish candlestick, that would be good. All right, that would be good. That means, great, we are now in the next phase of that uptrend. All right, in the next phase of the uptrend, where could we project the uptrend towards? Let me just do a little bit of a projection here. 325 to 2230. Wait, let me just do this. 225 to 325 projecting upwards. I would say maybe you expect a little bit of resistance close to that 400 psychological level. Otherwise, upwards to about $425. That could be your next target. All right, that could be your next target. Nothing wrong to buy on strength. All right, it's only a bit weird if you are thinking of buying on weakness, then that is maybe not the right mentality. But in this case, great, there is strength. There could be continued strength this evening as well. You can set up some alerts. Firstly, maybe about that 330 level, 335 level, you want to have some alerts, price alerts there to see if prices are indeed starting to head higher, or that momentum continues to pick up. But I think you could expect a larger consolidation. Right, I think very, very common for Bloom Energy to have a little bit of a consolidation right there, about 4 months, another 2 months of consolidation before heading higher. So if we were to be able to hit higher to that $425 level, let me change this to red color. Hey, maybe you could even potentially take some. In this case, maybe don't do your entire profits again. Very similarly, like what had happened in the past, just take some profits first. If it indeed hit to 425, then we can see if prices hit back to that 325 level, reaccumulate again, and then when it hits to that 425 level again, consider to do the same action, sell some, sell half, sell 1/3. Then we see if we are able to actually break above that 425 level to see more strength. So definitely with that 1GT bullish signal, we have a trailing support, but the trailing support needs to play a little bit of a catch up. It's still around that $230 something level. But as we hit higher, that trailing support will start to hit higher. And if you are sitting on some profits eventually close to that $425 level, hey, use that trailing support, use that horizontal support, give yourself that buffer room, right? That buffer space to protect some of your profits as you continue to ride that trend even higher. So I think that is a very, very quick one for Bloom Energy. I would say so far still looking good. Re-entry, I think, look at your position sizing, look at where the current market is currently heading, look at where that buy zone or sell zone is currently at. Few key levels to watch out for. I think you might want to write this down. 425 is the next immediate resistance. The buy zone may be between 325 to upwards to about 350. Have a stop loss below that 325 level if you indeed want to consider to get back in for a re-entry. All right, so that is for Bloom Energy. Passing the time back to Choy for the next stock. Choy.
All right, thank you, Bhavin. So the next stock that we're covering on is actually on ARM. I think Edward is asking on ARM. Bought at 120. Should I continue to hold or sell? Actually, maybe before that, I saw someone comment, US trading tonight, or is it closed? So I think
Right.
just to let you guys know, tonight actually US is closed. Yeah, it's not trading. I think Simon has also nicely put that is closed today due to June 10th. So it's a federal holiday. So yeah, so it won't be trading today. So you'll resume trading next Monday, I believe. Yep. So if you guys see tonight, the market not moving, then you guys don't be shocked by it lah. So it's not trading tonight. Yep. So I think back to ARM. So Edward, bought at 120. Should I continue to hold or sell? So I think for ARM, I was looking at it. Wow, I'm not sure when you bought it at 120. Was it just this start of this year, or is it very long time ago? But if you were to zoom out for ARM holding, I think last year and the previous year, just if you can see the chart wise, it was previously kept under this 200s or 195 psychological level. So I mean for Edward, if you bought it around that 120, assuming that you saw the first 1GT bullish signal and you bought it start of this year, I'll say you're currently actually up from 120 until now. You're actually up close to 670%. So actually it's quite good. So I mean, you are still holding to it. You are thinking of whether to continue to hold or sell for this arm. So if you look at how the moving averages are for these arm holdings, I mean, you definitely agree with me that all three moving averages are clearly pointing up. You can see that 100 days, 200 days, and 20 days are all pointing up, showing that there's long-term and short-term strength in this counter. Previously, when it broke above that 195 level, it went up, tested this 195 quite a few times, and I think just in end of May or mid of May, it started to show more strength. Just recently, there was a pullback, and there was a 1GT bearish signal that appeared when it pulled back close to that $300 or 305 level. But since you're already holding to it and you're asking, if you asked me yesterday or the day before, when it's below that 420 or 430 psychological level, I would say maybe you can take some profit. But if you look at it just yesterday, prices actually broke above this 430 level, which it was kept under for the past 1 month. Prices started to show more strength again, rebounded from this 320 level, 310 level, rebounded, and just yesterday it broke above this 430 level, and there's a 1GT bullish signal that appeared. So I would say since it already broke above this 430 level and you're still holding to it, I would say if we see a new support at this level, and just by doing a simple projection from the previous low to the recent high, we might foresee that the next key resistance might be near that 550 level. But of course, prices only just break above this 430 just yesterday, and there's a 1GT bullish signal that appeared, indicating that there's more strength and more buying interest in this counter. But 430 might be still a support that we want to closely monitor to see if prices are able to stay above. If prices are not able to stay above this 430, we might see that prices might come back down to that 430 again and go back close to that 310 support level. So I would say 430, since it's just yesterday that it broke above, we want to closely monitor to see if it's able to hold. If it's able to hold above this 430 level, you still can hold on for arm holding. Not too sure how much shares you bought, but you still can hold on. Maybe you can ride the wave up close to that 500 or even at 550 level and secure some profit near a resistance. But of course, if prices not able to hold above that 430 and start to show a bit of weakness coming back down below that 430, we still might see some resistance near this level. Then nothing wrong to sell some to secure profit just in case prices go back down back to that 320 level again. So like what we always mention, nothing wrong to take some profit along the way just to secure it in case prices start to show more weakness. So for Edward, since you're already holding on to quite a lot of profit, nothing wrong to take some profit as well along the way. So that's just a quick one for ARM. For now, I would say 430 might be a key support level that you want to closely monitor. Yep, so I think that's for ARM holding. If not, I'll pass on my time back to Joey to cover the next stock.
All right, thank you so much, Jai. Let's move on to the next one. All right, so that would be, let me see, right? This would be the next stock. Okay, this would be a very popular stock. I think we have covered it in our previous Ask Me Any Stock session as well. Let's see who is asking about it. NCS, right? NCS, right? Morgan Stanley, MS. MS is the code, right? So thanks for giving us a bit of context, taking the time to type in the chat as well. So you bought MS at $191. Very good. 191 you bought. So I think maybe last month now, 191 maybe over here. Now it's $223. Okay, good lah. So confirm making money already lah. Okay, if you lock in the profits lah, but never lock in yet. Never mind. Let's take a look again. Okay, the stock has moved up nicely since then. I'm now looking at the best strategy to either take some profits or protect my gains while allowing further upside, right? So you want to think about taking some profits, but at the same time you scared you take it, then after go up some more, right? Then wasted, right? So what could be the plan? What could be the plan? I think that's a very common question that we get all the time, because most people, they get in, but you don't know when to get out, when to take some profit, maybe, when to really reduce the exposure if you were to see signs of weakness, right? So that is what we will focus on right now. So you can see that for Morgan Stanley, The long-term trend has been up. So definitely a stock that we've been covering. We like this stock, very firm uptrend in the longer term. In the short term, it's not always up, right? You can see in January, February, March, down, down, down. The green line goes down. So if you see a green line going down, we normally don't want to buy that because the short-term trend is down, right? Even though the long-term trend is up, right? So we want to be patient. We want to wait until the green line like over here in April, start to point up. Fine, good. All right, that's where both also up, right? Better than one up, one down lah. Make sense? All right, Ken. So if you have entered over here, even better. But no worries, you entered around 191. That would be also a good thing. Let's take a look at what it says on my 1GT Pro indicator. Let's turn it on. Pump. And see whether you can provide some additional confirmations, right? So for Morgan Stanley, I mean, you guys can see for yourself lah. I mean, since like let's say last year, you can see, right? Every time we get bearish red color signal, 1, 2, 3, what happens? All the way down. You buy, you cannot stop, lor. Right? So we don't want to buy lah. We buy when we see 1, 2 bullish signal, wow, another one come out, wow, another one come out, right? What happens? All the way up, all the way up until we got a bearish signal in February, right? 63% in about 10 months. Okay, ma? 63% 10 months, not enough, man. Okay, ma, right? Get out first, right? Then wait for it to go down. You cannot go down already, right? Let it stabilize a bit. The bearish signal come out. You don't want to rush, right? Get out first. Take the money first, all right? Then, bullish signals come back again. How many percent now? That one was like 63%. Now it's like only 29% lah. But okay, ma, 29%, right? And counting, right? Still looking good. There's no bearish signal out right now, right? So back to your question, I would say NCS. I would say that it looks pretty good still, right? There's no need to be too quick to take profits, right? Take some if you want. Where can it be? Well, maybe 250. 250 could be what we call a psychological resistance level. Okay, so you want to take some profit near there, I think that's fine. But overall, it looks good, right? Long-term trend up. 2 bullish signals since April still in play. Green line obviously pointing up. And what I like is this, right? Over the past few weeks, right? So $200 was a very key psychological resistance level. So you got in below it, all right? And then we broke above 200. So that's a good thing, right? Psychological resistance broken, all right? And we held above 200 and we start to push even higher. And over the past few days, you can see that we have also gone above the temporary 220 psychological resistance level as well. So that's a sign of good thing. So you can see that this stock, we got bullish signals, it's reverse, it consolidates, pump, right? So look at this, right? So you can see it consolidates, push up, consolidates, push up. Maybe my consolidate here, push up. Does it make sense, right? And it's healthy, right? I think it's better than you stock up every other day, or you want to be careful lah. But if it ups, then you rest a while, you consolidate, you see a bit of profit taking, right? Then buyers come back up, support come back again, then we push higher. That is a healthy, sustainable uptrend, right? And I think that's what Morgan Stanley is doing, right? It looks pretty bullish, very stable, consistent, and sustainable, right? So anything above, don't say 200 lah. Now I think 200 too far, but anything above the 220, I think it looks pretty bullish still. Upside targets could be, as I say, all the way to that near-term target, $250. Another 12-13% upside. So that could be what we call upside targets. If you take a look at what it looks like on the 1GT Pro indicator, all right, you can see that when we got bullish signals popping out, trailing support I talked about just now, popped up as well, right? It followed Morgan Stanley as it moved up, right? Up, flat. Now you move up, so you start to follow already, right? But don't follow too closely. Got space on there. You see here? Got space on. Here got space, right? Why got space? Because we give the stock the space to breathe. All right? To allow it to hopefully maximize its profits, to hopefully fan, and hopefully and go up some more. Right? That's what we do. All right? That's what the trailing support does. So we want to give it the volatility allowance to hopefully move higher. We stay above it, good. We go up some more, good. We follow some more. Make sense about? All right. So what you could do NCS, all right, is that you also want to take steps to protect your profits as it moves higher, right? So now, let's say now trailing support is over here. You could have a stop loss below it, like what I mentioned just now, to protect the gains, all right? So you mentioned either take some profits or protect your gains. Good. You can do both. All right. So you can take some profit if you are near 250, near 300. up to you, all right? I mean, you start consolidating there, we see a couple of resistance, a couple of touches, then always go there, come back down. Take some profit. If you are near there, by all means, go ahead, right? But that is the upside, that's the easy part, that's taking profit, right? But the not so easy part is you want to protect the downside, right? To make sure that those profits that you still have, don't let it go all the way down and become smaller and smaller, become no more. No, right? You want to protect the profits, right? And that's what we call having a stop loss below the trailing support, right? Trailing the trailing support so that no matter what, you still make money. All right, Ken? So I think that's key. That would be for Morgan Stanley. Okay, Ken? Yeah, and by the way, guys, I think Bhavin just now mentioned as well, we do have what we call a light version. So what we're using right now is the One Good Trend Pro indicator. It's a more advanced version. We have come the more advanced stuff like the horizontal support and resistance, trading support, even volume, position sizing. All that will be covered in a webinar. You can have a free webinar, right? But we do have a simpler version, right? That's what we call the One Good Trend Light indicator, not the pro, the light indicator, right? So that's we do have a free trial for it, all right? The link is right in the chat. Just click on it. Click on the link in the chat, and that's where it's a bit simpler. So how simple is simple? Well, basically, you are able to turn on the bullish and bearish signals, the very first box, and also the 3 moving averages, right? Pretty much like this, like what you're seeing right now. Like that, simpler, right? The signals plus the 3 moving averages, just to guide you lah. Good, not so good, bullish, bearish. Time to rush in or time to be patient, time to wait. So that's how I can help you. The link is right in chat. We do have a 14-day free trial of the One Good Trend Light indicator, right? So go and test it out, play around with it, all right? And then the free webinar to learn more as well after trying the light indicator. If you want to get access to the pro and more advanced stuff and even understand our 7-step checklist, attend the free webinars as well. Okay, Ken? So that will be Morgan Stanley. I think looks good above 220 lah. Okay, now leave us on the mic to Bhavin to cover the next US stock. Bhavin, yes.
All right, thanks, Joey. Okay, so before I cover the next stock, I just want to run through what stocks we have covered, because I saw some of you guys are asking for the same stocks that we have already covered. So I think after this entire live stream, there will be the replay available on YouTube. You can check it out. I don't think we will want to cover the same stock twice. I think no point. I can just watch the replay. All right, so I think starting off, Joey covered the S&P 500, followed by covering Micron. Then I covered iShares Global Energy ETF. The stock code is IXC. Jay covered Microsoft, stock code MSFT. Going back to Joey, he covered Applied Digital. I covered ServiceNow. Jerry covered Palantir. Then Seagate, followed by Bloom Energy, ARM, and Joey just covered Morgan Stanley. Okay, so I'm not too sure, but it seems like we may be running out of time. So Joey, would you like to go for one more full round? So me, Jai, then you, then we go on to our
let's go one more round. Let's go one more round and see if we have more time. We can cover a bit more stocks. Let's go.
Okay, Ken. So the next stock I would like to cover would be this stock code ORCL, Oracle Corporation. I think some of you guys were asking about this stock. Joy was asking about it. I think Kunaf was also asking about Oracle. Let me just change the screen right there. All right, so here we go. Oracle Corporation, I think, came down from the high of $340. And what we have here is sometime in February of this year, we have a bearish crossover. All right, a bearish crossover. I think what we have now is prices actually supporting or testing that support of $180. I think this entire week, I think even last week, we were consolidating very, very close to this support, but that 100 days and 200 days moving average have started to show signs of bearishness, right? The 200 days starting to point down, right? The 100 days a little bit flat. Previously was pointing down, now is a little bit flatter. We have that resistance right around that $250 upwards to about $260. So that is where I would draw what we call a sell zone. All right. Most recently, we have a 1GT bearish signal that came up after prices were not able to breach this $260 level. All right. So with prices, they're currently testing that $180 level. Kunaf, I think You may want to be aware of this as well, because if this support breaks down, we could see that 20 days moving average also starting to point downwards already, and that 100 days moving average can move from a flattening phase all the way down again. So not a good sign, right? So where would the next support be? I think next key support to me will be around that $140 level. So that is quite a bit of downside, right? That's quite a bit of downside. So I mean, we want to always have a plan. I always have a plan, especially if you have been holding on to it previously as well, like Joy. You've been holding it at 225 and beyond repair for the next 2 months. Is it beyond repair for the next 2 months? I think nobody can tell you. I think Joey can't tell you. I think Jai can't tell you what's going to be happening in the next 2 months. But at least with the current information on hand, you want to monitor that 180 level. Like what Jai mentioned just now, the US market not trading tonight. So I think maybe next week onwards, we want to just pay attention to that 180 level. Have a few alerts, right? For sure, under that 180 level, 177, 176, 175, just to alert yourself if that 180 level really indeed gives way. Then it's really not too good as well. We may even see a new 1GT bearish signal come in. All right, new 1GT bearish signal, making it to 1GT bearish signal. Then your downside could be extended. Right, so we always want to have a plan. At least you're not thinking of buying more. That's a good sign. You're not thinking of, hey, must average down, bring the average cost price down even further, so I can break even more easily. Right? You don't want to throw good money after bad money lah. Right? So now a few levels on top of that 180 level, you want to maybe just set some alerts as well. I would say put one more alert at that psychological $200 level. I think that is the immediate resistance that you want to watch out for as well. You could see sellers start to come in. You want to start to see a little bit of consolidation or further consolidation coming in between the 180 to that $200 level, forming a very, very good base for prices to rebound off, where that reversal into the uptrend could be possible. But I think in the nearer term especially, there's no signs, at least no signs of any strength coming in to push prices above that $200 just yet. Right? So maybe you need to wait for a little bit of a catalyst. But I think the earnings are pretty far out. It's in September, not anytime soon. So I think we have to look for general market sentiment. Right, Joy and Kunaf, I think have a plan. Don't average down just yet. You want to wait for a little bit more strength to come in for Oracle in the next few weeks at least. Right, so I think that is a very, very quick one for Oracle. I'll pass the time to Jai now to cover the next requested stock. Jai.
All right, thank you, Bhavin. The next stock that we're covering on will be on this Intel. So I believe, let me just get Intel. So I think Pauline, good morning, Joey, Bhavin, and Jai. I'm thinking of buying Intel. Don't know if it's the right time to get in. Can advise, please? So hopefully you're still here, Pauline. So I think for Intel wise, it has started to show much more strength, I think just last year and breaking resistance. I mean, if you were to zoom in just recently, maybe start of this year, January, it actually was kept under that $50 psychological resistance level. I think back then, if you look at it, it was kept under this $50 for the whole of actually around January to April. So I think only in April 1st, I think there was more interest in Intel. I think Trump was talking about Intel as well. Then I just believe, I think afterwards, it started to show more strength. The 1GT bullish signal appeared on the 2nd of April, the first one. When it started to show more strength, breaking above it, another 1GT bullish signal that appeared. So we can see that afterwards, it started to show more strength, pushing up prices higher and higher. And just recently, it actually gapped up after their earnings. Prices actually went up above the $80, and just recently some pullback. So I would say for Intel wise, if you were to zoom in just quite recently, how it is, we can see that moving averages are all pointing up. I think if you were to look at it for just yesterday, 20 days moving average already starting to point up, 100 days and 200 days obviously pointing up. Previously, it was kind of consolidating between that $100 psychological level to that 130. So I think prices went up above the 100, went close to the 130 in May, couldn't break above, came back down to test in May again, and so in June. And just yesterday, actually, we see that prices went up above this 130 psychological resistance level. So I believe there was some deal that Trump said that Intel and Apple are working together to design the chips, manufacturing the chips. So I would say prices actually start to show more strength, and just yesterday it broke above that 130. So it's just one day that it actually broke above this 130. We might want to closely monitor how the price moving forward. So if prices are able to stay above this 130, this could be a new support. And there's a 1GT bullish signal that appears, indicating that there might be more buying interest in this counter. So if prices are able to stay above this 130 level, where could be the next target for this Intel? Just by doing a simple projection from 100 to 130, I would say the next target might be around the 160 level. But of course, we wouldn't know how just one day prices break above doesn't mean it might not be able to stay above for the next few days. We wouldn't know. So for now, if you are more aggressive, I would say you can consider to enter around that 130 if you see that the support 130 might be supported, with the next target to be around the 160. But of course, if you're more you want to wait for more confirmation, then we might want to see for the next few days, maybe next week, see how the price move for Intel. If it's able to stay and hold above 130, I would say 130 might be a support level that you can consider to enter. If it's not able to hold above, nothing wrong to enter around that 100 psychological level as well, with all the moving edges pointing upwards. So I would say for Intel wise, $100 might be a buy zone, but we of course don't know whether price are able to pull back to the level. If not, the new support level, which is the 130, this could be the next buy zone for Intel. So for Pauline, I mean, you're looking to buy, I would say overall moving averages are all showing strength. There's a 1GT bullish signal that just appeared, indicating that there's more buying interest. Nothing wrong to look at Intel, but if you want more confirmation, you can monitor for the next few days how this Intel is moving, and by then maybe you have more confirmation and more confidence in this counter. Then you can enter near a support level, which is around that 130 level. So I think that's a quick one on Intel. Hopefully that answers your question, Bobby. I'll pass on to Joey to cover the next stop.
All right, thank you so much. So I think there we have it, guys. We've gone on for almost 2 hours already. All right, so first thing first, apologies if we cannot cover like all the stocks in the chat. There's like more than 30, 40 over US stocks. So very sorry, guys, we can cover all of it. It might take like another 3-4 hours. All right, so right now we're gonna go to the next segment. The next segment, which will be the 3 bonus stocks that each of us will share with you. So each of us share one, so total will be 3 bonus US stock. All right, Ken. Okay, but I was just looking at, okay, maybe I can just do one more. I'll just do one more stocks, and then maybe we'll just go very quickly into the bonus stock segment already, right? So I just saw the stock popping out. So very quickly, let me just go to share my screen before we move on. All right, so let's just do one more. Okay, Ken? Now, that would be this company called VEEV, right? So Filters 7771. I'm considering initiating a position in Viva Systems, right? Right over here. What would be a suitable buying range, right? What would be a suitable buying range? Now, just help me out here, right, guys? I already turned on, you see the bullish and bearish signals from my One Good Trend Pro indicator. Let's turn it on. Let's help filters out over here. Should this stock be, is it one whereby we should think about buying, right? Type B for buy, type W for wait, type N for no. Let me know, guys, what you guys think, right, about this stock. Should we think about buying this stock? Should it be now watch this to like, wow, very, very rush to buy? Let me know. What do you guys think? Very quickly. All right, should we be thinking about buying this stock? VEEV. Right? No, no, no. All right. Probably a no, no. All right. Wait. All right. But lucky I never say anything, say buy. Right. Okay. So you can quite clearly see the guys that, I mean, the reason why I think all of you are saying no, wait, don't buy. No, not now. Downtrending. All right. Thank you so much, Victor, as well. All right. Simon, no, wait for upticks. Right. Wait for this, the trend to turn up or something. Right. I think quite clearly all of you can clearly see that we have what we call bearish signals appearing since like November. Not last week, not last month, like very long already. November already come out already, the bearish signal, right? Then one, then two. So every time you got a bullish signal, yeah, like went up like 1, 2 day, 1 week, after all the way down. Right? Another bearish signal, all the way down, right? You can see last one, you got a bullish signal, went up 1 day, didn't really follow through. Now another bearish signal came out again. So overall, the trend has been down. Look at the red and the blue line. Oh, the one we've been talking about. Wow, very nice one, right? Wow, red above the blue going up. I think just now I talked about Morgan Stanley. That one, no issue. This one, long-term trend down. All right. Imagine you buy at 300, then go to 250, you think cheap, you go and buy. Then become 200. 200, you think cheap, go and buy. Now become 150 plus. All right. So we don't buy into cheapness lah. We don't buy into weakness. All right, Ken? Because there's no end. Go down, you buy. Go down, you buy. So we don't buy into stock which are in the downtrend. So I thought just covering this, just want to make sure that all of you understand this as well, because we've been talking about some very bullish, strong uptrending stocks, but there are stocks that are clearly not doing well. All right, and we want to know that. We want to not buy. All right, so I think in the market it's also very important to know. It's not always about buying, but it's about knowing what not to buy. All right, because you can buy, then wow, jialat, no, right? So it's good to know which one cannot buy on. Like some cannot, some maybe can, this one can, this one confirm cannot. You must know that, right? So that you are pushing away those that cannot one. All right, then you focus only on the strong one, the winners. All right, Ken? So this one, probably not want to buy, all right, not want to buy VEEV, right? Because what would be a suitable buying range? I mean, if you can force me to give you a range, okay, what I can say is these are, so probably don't want to buy this company, right? Because the long-term trend is down, the short-term trend is down. We got a bearish signal that's been coming out since November, a couple of bearish signals, right? But if I can just dive in a little bit deeper for you, all right, in case you really want to buy, and indeed, we are indeed seeing some buying pressure right over here, right? Well, that would be the 150 support level, right? Look at this rebound, right? So $150 since April, we have been seeing a couple of rebounds. So if you really want to get in there, I think for a quick trade, I think it's fine, all right? But just take note, you're kind of like against the longer term trend, the short term trend, even the bearish signal. So you must have a plan. So if you want to get in near 151, 152, 153, 154, 155, by all means. But my question to you after that is this, right? If let's say you get in 153 or 154, right, or 152, something like that, and no problem, because really got rebound, rebound. So I cannot say don't buy because really got rebound. If you get in 152, actually the time go to 170, 180, but of course then come back down again. So really can rebound from 150, nothing wrong, right? But the question I have for you is this. If the 150 were to give way, we go to 147, 148, 145, I mean, below 150 lah. I mean, all the while rebound for the past 2 months. But let's say now never rebound. It go below it, it break the 150. Question to you. Still hold the way down, right? To hold until 120, hold until $100, like hold all the way down. That's the question. You tell me the answer is no. I have a plan. I will stop loss. I will protect. I will make sure I get out. Okay, then I think it's okay. But you tell me, I think I don't know what to do. I'll hold all the way down. And then I think you better don't buy. Make sense? All right, Ken. So so this stock we will not want to, because we are kind of like against it. But I mean, as I say, if you really want to get in near what we call the a suitable buying range, well, okay, but have a plan, because in case, I'm not saying it will break or it will go below 150. No, I'm not saying that, right? But if it happens, what's the plan? Right? You want to know what to do. You want to know to get out, to have a stop loss, to make sure that you protect the downside. You don't want to go all the way down to 120, 100 days. I see I wasted, buy and you go down. Right? So nothing wrong to get in, right? We probably won't do it, but if you want to do it, have a plan. Does it make sense, Vaughn? All right, Ken. So that would be kind of like the very last stock for today, VEEV, right? VEEV system. I hope that helps, right? So it's not just about buying and buying, but also sometimes telling yourself when not to buy, when to be patient, when to wait. All right, 10. Okay, so before we move on to the next segment of the 3 bonus stock, guys, how many of you got value, type of V for value, guys? If you have got value so far, you learned something today, not just about, especially we have covered your stocks, but in case we have not covered your stocks, but, you learned something about the strategy, about how we think about certain things, about the mindset, about the framework, all right? Like in terms of the trend as well. V for value, guys, you got value. I want to make sure that all of you got value today. I think that's very important. Right? Make sure all of you learn something today. All right, lots of value. All right, very good. All right, value. Okay, very good. That's the main thing. I mean, that's the reason why we do all this Friday weekly Ask Me Any Stock session. Not really for us, like just to make sure we share, what we're using every day anyway, right? And then we just share with you guys, and then hopefully you all can take away something, right? Take some profits, right? And also not get in, right? And not rush to give you a better idea on some of the stocks, whereby you want to be more careful as well, like certain stocks like this. Okay, let's move on to the stock I'd like to share with you guys, the very first bonus stock for today. All right, okay, let me just go to share my screen, and that would be this company right over here called Caterpillar, right? The code is CAT, right over here, right? So this stock has been in our watch list over the past few months since the beginning of the year. Quite clearly, guys can see that why this stock is even in our watch list. It looks different. I mean, definitely different from the one that I just covered just now, right? The VEEV system, whereby it's been going down since November, going cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. This one has been moving into the upside, right? Trading into strength, pushing higher, not going up every single day, but we up, we rest, we go up some more, we rest, and then now maybe starting to go up some more again, right? Very strong uptrend. Look at the red and blue line. You can take one ruler, you can just draw one straight line, right? So very consistent, very steady, sustainable uptrend. All right. And the green 20 days moving average line is what you can see was down a little bit, up, flat, now starting to point up again, right? So we like this stock, right? And one thing I want to share with you guys, because I feel that over the past few days, we were actually trading below this very critical, I would say 950 resistance, right? Like, in May, we came down, the green line also flattened a bit, right? A bit boring, a bit flat, right? We were like going from 850 to 950, okay? Like $100 up down for like 2 months, a bit boring, right? But over the past few days, we have managed to break above the $950 psychological resistance level, right? The next one will be the key $1,000. Now it's 985, so it's like, wow, only like $15 to 1,000, So we're right at 1,000. Very near 1,000. So for me, my take is very simple. I think if we can push firmly above the 1,000 psychological resistance, so we really go above 950. That's good already. But if you want just another more confirmation of even more upside momentum, if we can push and break above the 1,000 resistance, the key psychological resistance, I think the uptrend will be so much more firmer. All right, buyers are not just ready to rest anymore and go sideways like what happened last month, but we are ready to go even higher. They are ready to take this to another phase higher. All right, and that's where targets could be raised all the way to 1,001, 1,002. All right, and that's just by doing a very simple analysis in terms of the support and the resistance level. All right, I have not even turned on my 1GT Pro indicator in terms of the signals to see what it says. Now let's take a look at and see what it says. Right, the very first box. Bam! There we go. So you can see that for Caterpillar, right? We actually had a couple of like bullish signals, not last week. Quite long already, since last year, right? Pam, right? Bearish signal, go down, rest for like 1 week, then 2 more bullish signal, right? Go down a bit in like March when the US Iran war started, but then bullish signals came out in April. You can see for yourself, All right, is it still looking good? Still looking good, All right. In fact, we got another bullish signal popping out just about 2 weeks back in June. 4th of June, and then now we are starting to push higher, right? So overall looks bullish, right? Bullish signals are still in play since April. The reversal has happened. Now we're not just reversing, we are resting and attempting to push even higher. Long-term trend up, short-term trend, the green line that was flat, also starting to point up after resting for like 2 weeks sideways, right? So definitely more up than down. Definitely a stock that you want to think about buying. Definitely one that is still in our watch list, potentially adding even more positions to ride it even more. All right, I'm looking at the 1,000 psychological resistance. If that gives way, I think it will be much faster. All right, Ken. So that will be my bonus stock, my bonus US stock for today. Caterpillar, the code is CAT. I hope you guys like it. All right, let me pass on the mic to Bervin to cover his top US bonus stock for today. Bervin, go ahead.
All right, thanks, Joey. Okay, so that's Caterpillar. I think I'm going somewhere in the similar line today. I'm going to talk about a little bit about my bonus stock, GE Aerospace. All right, so I think GE finally also woken up from its consolidation phase. All right, so it has been consolidating pretty much since September of last year, not being able to break out, as you can see. And finally, over the last few days, it finally made a move above that $350 resistance. Right, so right now, I would like to just turn this to a support level first. All right, so with the $350 level finally giving way, I have drawn the next upside target towards the $400 level first. All right, the $400 level first, and we have two, not just one, two 1GT bullish signals. Two 1GT bullish signals that have shown up leading up to that breakout. Right, so I think this could be a sign that the next phase of that uptrend is already starting for GE Aerospace. A lot of their businesses have backlogs, but they are also in play within the AI space as well. All right, so how much is that upside? If we just do a little bit of a projection using the $265 upwards to the 330 level, that would be around that 400 to that 410 level. Right, so I think if you haven't already added to GE into your watch list, right, we have been talking about this stock for a while right now, and it finally broke out. I think you could finally start to pay a little bit more attention to it. I mean, at least for the next few weeks, right? At least for next week, see if this up move is sustained. See if you are able to see a new one, another third 1GT bullish signal coming in. But I think it is not meant to be a very fast moving counter, not like a tech counter that moves 20-30% in a couple of days. No, it's meant to be a more stable, a more slower counter, lesser volatility being involved in this counter, a little bit of a longer term consolidation before heading higher, longer term consolidation before heading even higher. Longer term trend still looks good right now. Right, the 100 days moving average has remained above the 200 days moving average throughout its consolidation, and finally with that 20 days moving average starting to point up very steeply, that could be a sign that further momentum will come in to push prices higher. And for those of you who previously have already bought GE Aerospace, it's time to maybe use that horizontal support as a level to protect your profit. So as long as you're able to hold above the $350 level, I think the next upside for GE Aerospace could be unlocked towards that $400 level, but it's still yet to be seen just yet. All right, so I think there's a very quick one for GE Aerospace. I believe many of you have this counter on your watch list, and I believe you can continue to watch this counter as well. All right, so passing the time back to Choy for his bonus stock for today.
All right, thank you, Bervin, for covering GE. So my bonus stock will actually be on AMD. So I believe some of you guys might already heard of AMD. Let us just look at AMD. So this is one of the counters that are in our watch list as well. So I think AMD just last year, if you were to zoom out, it was kind of showing a weakness back then, maybe start of January last year. And I think only in April when it start to move up and start to show more strength, we can see that last year, August, it was actually kept under this 190, about 200, about 195 to 200, that level. It was being kept under this level, and afterwards, just in October last year, it started to show more strength, broke above this level, but was kind of consolidating between that 190 to actually that 260 level back then for that one whole October till actually this year, April, March, April, or even mid-April. So after it actually consolidated, it started to show more strength again. Broke above that 260 level, 1GT bullish signal appeared, and this is where we are now. From that 260 level until now is up close to 100%. So we can see that AMD actually started to show more strength when it broke above this level that was kept under 260, went up and showed more strength. And just recently, if you were to zoom in, it actually gapped up as well from that 360 level, went above that 400. So I would say near term wise, or a key support level might be near that $400 level. Prices broke above that 400, start to show more strength, went close to that 460, that's 400 again, and recently it is kept under this 550 psychological level. So we can see that prices actually came to test in start of June, and just a few days back, it actually start to test 550 level again. So overall, this counter is still showing strength. 100 days, 200 days, all moving up. 20 days obviously also pointing up. Previously, when it pull back to that 460 level, there's no 1GT bearish signal that appear. Overall, it's still showing strength. But where might be some of the key levels that you want to closely monitor for AMD? So first thing is 460, like what I've mentioned. Prices pull back to that 460 or that 450 level, stayed above it, start to show more strength, kept under that 550 level again. Recently, haven't break above 550, but if prices are able to break above this 550 level, we might see that this might be a new support level, with the next potential upside, towards that around 640 or even at 650 level. So if prices are able to break above this 550 level. But if it's not able to break above this 550 level, we might see that prices might consolidate between that 450, 460 level to that 550. And if you were to turn on the trailing support and resistance, you also notice that prices are actually around, the support is around that 448, 450 level. So this 450 to 460 level could be a potential buy zone if prices pull back. This could be a potential buy zone if you're looking to enter for AMD, or if prices break above this 550 with confirmation and able to stay above this 550 level, this could be another buy zone that you can consider to enter for AMD. So I would say overall, AMD, after it breaks above that 260 level, has been showing a lot of strength and has been breaking resistance and resistance. So overall, it's still showing strength, and this could be one of the counters that you want to closely monitor for if you are looking to add into a watch list. So yeah, I think that's overall how my watch list is. My bonus stock is AMD. So I think Joey have covered Caterpillar, CAT, Bervin has covered GE Aerospace, GE, and I have covered Advanced Micros Device, AMD. So this is our 3 bonus stocks. So I mean, maybe before I pass on my time back to Joey, just wanted to check with you guys, because I think today we are mainly focusing on just US stocks. But I believe some of you guys, most of you guys are also located in Singapore or interested in Singapore stocks. So just wanted to check how many of you guys are actually a client under us. So maybe if you guys are a client under us, you guys can type a C so that to get a gauge of how many of you guys are actually a client.
Yeah, let us know, guys. I mean, how many of you are actually a client of mine in Philip Securities? That means you have a trading account under me in Philip Securities. I want to thank all our clients over here. I know many of you may not be a client of mine in Philip Securities. You may be just scrolling through YouTube and Facebook, so don't know why you're here. Right? But let us know how many of you are clients over here. Let's see. Wow, a lot of clients over here. Hi, Christine, Kosifang, Eileen, Simon Xia, definitely. Hi, Jen Lian as well. Awesome. A lot of clients over here. Very nice, very nice. Maybe Jay, you can share. I mean, what are some of the benefits of becoming a client?
Oh yeah, so just want to share that those who are actually a client on us, I believe you guys have been also receiving daily Singapore broadcasts on like Singapore top stocks ideas that is sent out by our team. So I believe for those who have been receiving it, you guys have been looking at all the Singapore stocks that we talk about, and also on a monthly basis, we also have a monthly newsletter which cover on Singapore and US counters as well. So for those who are a client under us, glad to see you guys here and always joining us for the AMAS. For those who are actually not a client under us, it's actually free to join as a client to be under Joey. So if you guys are interested, hopefully you guys through the AMAS we have value added to you guys as well. And if you're interested to find out more about how to become a client under Joey, feel free to just click on the link and join us as a client under us as well.
Yep. Correct. I mean, as I say, we do have a lot of clients joining us over here, but some of you may not be a client of mine in Philip Securities. All right. The link is right in the chat. All right. The link's right in the chat, guys. Those of you who are not yet a client of mine, essentially, if you're not getting our daily updates and ideas by WhatsApp daily for free, all right, find out how. The link is right in the chat. I know today we're talking about US stocks, but in actual fact, on a daily basis, we do share some of top Singapore ideas. It could be the banks, it could be DBS, it could be other stocks. All right. If you don't want to miss out on all these top Singapore ideas as well, all right, that has been looking pretty strong. Find out how you can become a client for free. You do not pay anything more. It's the same as whatever you pay when you're trading. All right, Ken. So I don't know where you're trading, but if you don't get any service from your own broker, like no, your broker never send you any idea. No, there's no like a real person there. It's like hotline or something. And that's what we hear from a lot of our clients, right? It's like no service one. Just own self log in to the app to the online platform. Find out. The link is right in the chat. All right, Ken. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. And I think we have come to the end of today's AMAS session. Anything to add, Bhavin?
Just one quick thing. Joey mentioned at the very start of the entire AMAS was that we are going to release new format, all right? A new format, more of a format to give you guys more value outside of just looking at charts. It is the One Good Chat podcast. I think we are trying to schedule it out soon. So, I mean, just keep a lookout for it on Joey's YouTube. So, if you haven't subscribed to his YouTube, I mean, please help us to subscribe to it so you'll get notified when we actually send out the first episode live, right?
Exactly, right. So this is a new thing that we are launching on our YouTube channel, right? Not just about analysis. I mean, like we do this every Friday live. It's about chart analysis, the one good trend strategy, analyzing your stocks and all that. That's what we've been doing for the past 2 hours, right? But that format will be slightly different. It's more like a podcast, right? You can ask questions. We will come and talk about things that a lot of people are asking about, all right? And you get to know me a bit better as well, and my team better as well. So make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel if you have not yet, so that when we publish this podcast videos coming out, right, you can check them out as well to get more value. Cool. All right. So the link is right in the chat, guys. In terms of how you can become a client of mine in Philip Securities. Finally, webinar. If you have not yet attended the free webinar, you want to find out a bit more about the entire strategy, the One Good Trend strategy, attend the free webinar next Tuesday, 23rd of June, 7:30 p.m. Team, just place the link in the chat again. All right. So thank you so much. Bye, everyone. Have a good weekend. All right. Let me just acknowledge and thank all of you. Right over here. Thanks, Lydia. Daily updates are timely and superbly sent out. Thank you so much. I think you are definitely a client of ours. Thank you so much, Cecilia. All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a good weekend. Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye. Have a great weekend.
Bye. Bye-bye.